Hi Nimish, welcome to Kunzum and let's have coffee together.
Hi Ajay, awesome to be here. And yes, terrific for the coffee. And I got something. I got the Nexus 5, which everyone is talking about these days.
Okay, talk to me like I'm a 5-year-old in a technology class.
That's a challenge.
Okay, now tell me what is this ado about the Nexus? I've been hearing things about the Nexus, but to be honest, I don't know much about it. What is special about Nexus to start with? Why Nexus?
It's a complicated answer. It's very, very complicated. But it basically has got to do a lot with the relationship between the Android crowd and the iPhone crowd. The Nexus is a range of phones that has been brought out by Google. It's a range of tablets and phones. Actually, the tablets have been coming out later. So this is a phone that has been made by Google. It's actually manufactured by LG for Google, which is why you will see an LG branding on it. But this is considered to be the Google phone. So this is the way Android runs as per Google. No skins, no optimizations. This is pure Android, the way Google sees it. So depending on which side of the camp you are, the iPhone is Dr. Jekyll and the Nexus is Mr. Hyde, or vice versa. It really depends on which side of the camp you are. That is why the incredible interest about it.
May I touch it?
You're blessed.
Okay, so if I drop it,
If you drop it, it shatters, but then that is the universal truth about most devices right now, unless you're using something like the Lenovo K900, which is made of steel or something.
Okay.
It's definitely a bit on the fragile side. I would say it's largely plastic. More solid than the previous Nexus. The Nexus 4, which was also made by LG, had a glass back. Here, if you notice, they have gone with plastic on the back.
a glass back.
A glass back. It
That's
had a
very
glass back.
intelligent. So it breaks both ways.
Oh yes, it breaks both ways. It gets scratched more often, but on the flip side, a lot of aficionados will say, that looked glassy. It was glassy, but it was classy.
Okay, that's a good one. And first things first,
Yeah.
why does Google need to get into hardware?
Well, Google doesn't really need to get into hardware, to be honest, but it's a device which for them showcases what Nexus is capable, what Android, I beg your pardon, is capable of. Because Android can be adapted by any manufacturer. So if you take a phone from LG and you take a phone from Samsung, both will be running Android, maybe even the same version of Android, but they will behave differently. What is classic Android? It's Google's own operating system, and I guess they decided somewhere that we need a device which shows what pure Android is. And incidentally, the big difference between this and other Android devices is that this is a ton full of specs and the price is not sky high. Now you can ask me about the price.
Okay, before I ask you about the price,
Okay.
I believe you're implying it's a lower price. That means Google is competing with its own OEMs for overpricing.
To an extent, yes. I don't really know how the market mathematics of that work out, but if you consider the flagships from LG and Samsung, we're looking at devices that are costing in the range of rupees 40,000 and above. Let me just get it back. So this is a Nexus 5. There's a full HD 4.95-inch display with a Qualcomm Snapdragon 800 2.26 GHz quad-core processor, 2 GB RAM, 16 GB of storage. The price is 28,999.
Is that a lot of specs?
That is pretty expensive. That is pretty good specs. That can pretty much run anything that Android has. Pretty much anything.
And is that a good price?
That's a staggeringly good price. If you consider that the best from LG is the G2, which costs around 38,000. The best from Samsung perhaps is the Note 3, which is in the vicinity of 45 to 46,000. And of course, if we start talking about the iPhone, then we go right above the 50,000 category and we're talking 53,000. So suddenly you have a flagship which is running the latest version of Android. And curiously, this is the only phone in the world, apart from the other Nexus devices of course, which automatically gets the latest version of Android on it. Google sends it, pushes it. The latest version of Android, Google updates it, you will get it here. It will not happen on the Note 3, it will not happen on the G2 or any other device, simply because they're the manufacturer will have to customize it to fit their own little tweaks and changes. This, Google sends you the update straight away. You'll always have the latest version of Android in your hand with terrifically good specs at a price that is, well, compared to others, it is low.
And let's do a typical checklist, right?
Uh-huh.
I think most phones today are being sold as cameras first and phones later. How's the camera here?
You put your finger on the Achilles heel of the poor thing. It's an 8 megapixel camera. And
But megapixels don't matter, right? If you
No,
really
no.
look at it,
No, they don't.
that's misleading, right?
It is misleading. You get a good quality lens, it can compensate. But the quality of the lens here, the quality of the camera here, let's face it, if you're looking at very, very high-end stuff, even in that price, the 28,000 range, where you have stuff like the Lumia 925, the Lumia 920, this is not quite there. You've got good lighting conditions, it's an 8 megapixel camera with optical image stabilization, it will do a decent enough job. Lights start getting dim, you're going to have a lot of noise, clarity is going to suffer, and color is not its forte. If you have been spoiled silly by the likes of an Apple or Nokia, you will look at this phone's camera and you will say, you know, this is not quite there.
What about audio?
The audio is decent. It's not exceptional. And again, I hasten to say that it's not exceptional. Do not expect something on the Nokia level where okay, you can fill a whole room with sound, or the call reception being the greatest. Not that. It is adequate. But it is what we would say a 7.5 out of 10 kind of thing.
And we live in a market where every mobile operator has oversold its capacity, right?
That's
Which
right.
means the reception of the phone is very important.
Yes.
How's the antenna here?
The antenna is pretty good, and there's a whole bunch of sensors on this. In fact, you've got 3G, you've got a gyroscope, you've got GPS, everything. The antenna is pretty good. I never had any problems with call drops or call reception. The flip side problem is that the battery is not too great. So I mean, you are the type that travels a lot.
Yeah.
You can't travel for more than 6-7 hours without being too far from a power point. Let's put it that way.
Oh, by the way, did I tell you I have a little Belkin adapter
Yeah.
on which you can plug in a electric kettle to make your coffee on the go. You can
Yes.
pretty much charge anything. So you can charge your phones, your laptops, your cameras on the go, and it goes into a cigarette lighter, by the way.
Take it along when you're using this.
It's always with me because with all these smartphones,
Then you can think of this one.
yeah, the battery isn't the
This-
smartest thing in any smartphone.
No, but
in the
this
market.
one, it really is a major Achilles heel because I mean, we have seen a few devices coming out from the likes of Lenovo and Samsung where the battery life is pretty good. Here, you can do a lot, but that doing a lot takes a heavy toll on the battery.
So does Google sell itself or itself through LG?
It works both ways. You can go to Google's App Store or the Google's online store, which they call Google Play, and there's a section called Devices. So you can go there, give your credit card details, place an order, it will be delivered to you. Alternatively, you can go to another online retailer, or you can go to an LG store and say, I want a Nexus 5.
And you said LG really doesn't promote this aggressively on its own, right? So it's like the two are married, but they're keeping it a secret.
It's complicated once again. It's horribly
Very
complicated.
narrative, right?
Yes. I mean, this one in particular is because LG doesn't exactly go overboard advertising the Nexus. And to an extent, even though they don't tell it to us, we can understand it's not their brand. The Nexus brand belongs to Google. And it was initially started by HTC made the first Nexus phones, and Samsung made the Nexus phones, and now LG is making the Nexus phones. So perhaps they figure that if we invest a lot of cash here, it might hurt our other devices which carry our brand name first. I mean, this thing is a Nexus. There's a big Nexus here, the LG is this small at the bottom. It might eat into our segment, and of course, we are promoting a brand which Google might just move to someone else. I mean, Google owns Motorola. Who knows? The next
Yeah.
Nexus might come from Motorola.
3 reasons why I should buy the Nexus.
3 reasons why you should buy the Nexus. One is super value for money. I mean, if someone asks me for around 29,000 rupees, is this the best smartphone in the market? I would say it's going to be very tough to find a better option than this. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. There are going to be quibbles about not having expandable memory and all that, but there's no doubt, performance-wise, it is fantastic. So, great value for money. You have got terrific specifications. That processor is good. The Qualcomm Snapdragon 800 is seriously good. You're handling 3D games, you can do video editing on the move, you can do image editing, everything. And the third one, well, the third one is more geeky to be very honest, but you get the latest version of Android. People say the latest version of Android doesn't matter. I beg to differ, it does matter because Google is fixing stuff. Google is adding new features, they're fixing bugs, there are all kinds of tweaks happening. Even as we speak, I'm being told that they're doing something to make the camera's output better and to improve battery life. So you're getting the latest version of Android. You're getting it at a very good price, and you're getting it with some excellent hardware. It's not a bad case for it, really.
And what makes the case bad?
What makes the case bad? What makes the case bad, well, is what we touched upon in the past. The camera is not the greatest. We have been spoiled, let's face it. There was a time when he said, okay, you need to spend about 35,000 rupees to get a good camera phone. Not any longer. The Lenovo K900 takes good pictures. The Lumia 920, which again features Snapdragon processor instantly, that takes very, very good pictures, and they're priced around this thing. So I would say, as a camera, it's not great. The second part is, again, audio could have been better. Just about makes do, but we had expected something more. I mean, this is Google's flagship. You expect some really, really good sound, especially when you consider the kind of revolution that the HTC One did with the front-facing speakers. We don't have that kind of sound here. And finally, what I call the Achilles heel is the battery. The battery is not really, really there. You're going to end up having to charge this about twice a day if you're a heavy-duty user. And if you're not a heavy-duty user, you don't need to like this.
So, if I go to the market today, what should I be buying between the iPhone series, the Samsungs of this world, now the Google Nexus, or any other phone out there in the market?
You're in the mood for asking very complicated questions today.
Who are you best friends with?
It's really a tough call, and like all decisions, it really depends on what you need. I mean, as far as the iPhone goes, I think if you're looking at anything below the iPhone 5C, then this very comfortably outperforms them. The iPhone 5C and the iPhone 5S, I think, perform better in the multimedia department and have better battery. When we look at the likes of Samsung and LG, then perhaps it's the innovations they have done to their hardware. Samsung has added a stylus to the Galaxy Note series. They have got better cameras. LG has got a distinct button on the back which can let you operate the phone without having to touch the touchscreen. But yes, looking beyond that, what you're looking for is looking for a good smartphone, the latest operating system with very, very good state-of-the-art hardware. And if camera and battery life are not too much of an issue. Like I said, it's not a bad camera. Good lighting conditions, in which most pictures are taken anyway. You're in broad daylight, you're in a well-lit place, you're in this cafe, for instance. You will get decent shots.
Okay.
If that's what you need. Your budget is 30,000. You say, I'm not going to go above 30,000 rupees. I want the best camera below 30,000 rupees. I think the Nexus 5 is a very, very strong contender in that category.
Okay, so let's go to the market and check out what's available and go shopping. But before that, I think we need a cup of coffee.
Yep, let's do that. Catch you.
Cheers.
Cheers.